Hello, bigenderdotnet viewers. Long time no see. I am recording this right after I recorded the topic number 9 video, which means this is the topic number 10 video. It's the second part of Alex's two-part question, which is, what are the best things about being bigender? I talked about some of this a little bit in one of my videos called Seeing Life from Both Sides Now. You can find it on my channel, which is youtube.com/user/BrinConvenient. But it's what being bigender allows me to do is to see the world from both sides of the gender wars. I'm kind of a double agent, so it's allowed me to have, I think, a much stronger understanding of the way that people of a certain gender interact with people of the same gender versus people of the opposite gender on both sides of the coin. So a group of women together interacts entirely different than a group of men together. And both of them react differently to mixed company. So it's been really cool to be able to learn, what it is on both sides of the divide. Okay, so growing up as a male, I interacted, with the world as a male, and people interacted with me the same. So, when I was in homosocial environments, which is my girlfriend's term for single-sex environments, single-sex groups, that was the conditioning that I received. That was the education that I received on how to interact with men. Because interacting with a man as a man is entirely different from interacting with a man as a woman. When a bunch of guys get together, there's a certain amount of cultural shorthand language that's used, like a lot of movie quotes and that kind of stuff, and it's sort of laddering each other to try and, contribute to the conversation, because guys always have to contribute to the conversation. No matter the conversation, guys have to contribute. And there's a sort of pressure to constantly prove your manhood through knowledge and expertise, because men are expected to be competent at everything. And one-on-one, guys will be more intimate with each other on a, social level, not physical intimacy, but like emotional intimacy. And guys do talk about our problems with each other. It's just we don't do it all in group, and we're not always seeking consensus. I'm going to be using we and us and me a lot, and by that I mean people of every gender. Just you have to pay attention to the context of the conversation. Sorry, but when a couple of guys are trying to share their experiences or have discussing having problems, they will do it one-on-one, but it doesn't happen all the time, and they can be real and emotional conversations. But it's hard for guys to feel comfortable doing that and open enough to share their pain with each other. And it's really difficult for one guy to do it in a group of men. There's a lot more sense of competition amongst guys than I think women even understand. But like I said, it's sort of constant pressure to prove that you're a man, and there's always the sensation that your manhood could be taken away from you at any point if you don't live up to some ideal, which is really hard. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to be a woman. There's not a lot of different ways in our culture to be a man. And so deviating from those norms, you're allowed basically one piece of flair. You can have a flower garden, or you can know how to cook, or enjoy cooking, or throw dinner parties, that kind of thing. But you can't have more of that. And there's certain things that you have to stay away from. Like most guys won't feel allowed to learn how to crochet, or just there's things that are off limits to men that are not off limits to women in the same way. That's not to say that women have it easy, because I've also been able to see on the other side how in mixed company, men are always trying to puff themselves up, and women are let's see. There's a lot of fluffing feathers on both sides. Men are trying to puff themselves up for the women. Women are trying to puff themselves up for the men. But the interaction, the way they do that, is really different. So I've sort of been able to watch both sides of it. I think I'm not being clear, but I just think it's really, as a social experiment, interesting to see. And then I've been allowed into, women's circles and being in an environment of all women, and there's much more group discussion and much more vulnerability in a group of women, but there's also a lot of consensus seeking too, like a lot of pressure to fit different norms as well, just to a different sense. And there's a sense of community amongst women that men don't have, sisterhood versus brotherhood. And a lot of guys will have like their one best friend, like their brother from a different mother, the one guy that they feel they can rely on. He's often their porn buddy. If I should die, you have to get in and get my porn stash out of the house before my mom finds it. Like that guy, he's the one you call up at 2 a.m. because your car is broken down and you need someone to come out and give you a lift or something like that. There's that one guy. Women have their girls, like they have their girlfriends, which is a group of them. Oftentimes there's a group of women who all rely on each other, but then there's a different kind of interpersonal dynamic too. Like there's always a little feud going on somewhere, and it's hard to know who's on which side today. Sometimes and for somebody who grew up with a male brain, it's really kind of a challenge sometimes to keep straight who's on what side of which argument, but it's interesting because most of the time there's no argument that's big enough to break it up. It's just a big argument, and usually there's one big conversation that has a lot of crying in it and hugging, and then they're right back to where they were. Or even in the middle of an argument, if somebody comes after one of your girlfriends who you've been arguing with, you've got her back. There's a family mentality, pack mentality, like the comfort of a wolf pack, in that inside the wolf pack there's always striving and competition to become the alpha, but if somebody threatens one member of the pack, they threaten the whole pack, and the entire pack will protect. That's kind of what it's like to be in a group of girlfriends, and that's an experience that I'd never had before. And that's an experience that being bigender allowed me to have. I have girlfriends now, in a different sense than, having my girlfriend, like the girl that I'm in love with. I also have my girlfriends, and these are the girls that, I do anything for. They do anything for me, and it's really awesome. So being able to do that has been something, or being able to be a part of that is something I would never have had if I had never owned my bigender identity. Also, I get to try out new clothes and new experiences and pamper myself in a way that, boys aren't allowed to do. I can go get pedicures without being sad about it. It's really been an interesting life as a bigender person, and I'm really glad that I finally, have the strength to set out on this path. So, that's what I have. Please do subscribe to bigenderdotnet, all spelled out, bigenderdotnet, if you have not already. Also, please take a look at our contributors and consider subscribing to their individual channels. The next question is Sam's for topic number 11, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to have to look that up before I record the next one. And I will try to be more on top of recording videos. It's my question next week, the 3rd of October, so hopefully I can come up with something then, and I'll see you next week.